My name's Tony Wells and I work for an organisation called Youth Connections. We're at the moment on a property called the Forest of Tranquility. Youth Connections is an organisation set up on the Central Coast, been operating for probably about 15 years now. Their main purpose is to get older school aged children into apprenticeships, traineeships and jobs. Yeah, the Forest of Tranquility is about a 40 hectare property, and the Youth Connections team have worked on about 4 or 5 hectares of that, where the lantana is a particularly bad problem. Most of the property is in really good condition. There's beautiful rainforest here, and the property has actually been a public resource for decades, a place where people can come and have a look at rainforest, and it's a particularly good specimen of local rainforest here. We've mostly been working on the edges, and the Hunter Central Rivers Catchment Management Authority provided us with the funding, and we acted as contractors to the owners of the Forest of Tranquility. Yeah, we've been able to use the expertise of our team, usually a 5-person team, to really knock the lantana back, and hopefully doing a fairly permanent job that will allow the native plant communities to bounce back, to provide a more permanent solution to the ongoing lantana problem, which is out of control all over the place around here. So it is quite a challenge. This is a really special property for the Central Coast, I think, because it does allow public access, and it's got a really good example of the local subtropical rainforest. And there's a lot of rare species here. There's the Forest of Tranquility mint bush, which is named from its being found on this site here, and there's good populations of that, and our work will hopefully improve the chances for it to survive. It's all part of the Tuggerah Lakes restoration funding that's come from the federal government, but the CMA have got a hold of some of that money and really helped to spend it well, and we were lucky enough to be able to get quite a bit, both here and on private properties around the place that we contracted to once the private owners had accessed the funds. Found a few difficulties in dealing with the lantana here. It's an especially damp and high fertility site here, and so the lantana grows very well. And some of our established techniques like cutting and painting, and even a technique called the splatter gun technique, were a little bit patchy at times, and I think it was because the conditions were so ideal for the lantana. And one of the beauties of the splatter gun technique is, rather than spraying a fine mist of herbicide onto the canopy of the lantana, you only splatter the herbicide over in patches, and so you don't get that drip from the canopy that's going to kill all the stuff underneath. And it's just worked perfectly here. So we learnt a few good lessons there about perhaps being a bit more thorough first time through. Quite a bit of the stuff that we cut and painted, we cut it and then paint it with glyphosate herbicide. A lot of that re-sprouted, and so I suppose we've become a little bit more particular with how we treat really vigorously growing lantana. It's hard to describe why I'm passionate about the local environment here. It's just an emotional thing which it's hard to rationalise, I suppose. I just love the look of native plant communities, and I love getting in amongst them, and I think it's a real missed opportunity for most of our population who grow exotics in their garden they're just missing out on this ancient, beautiful work of evolution, and it's all around us. And that's perhaps one of the best things about getting these kids involved in it, is that they may have that opportunity to really appreciate that.